How's it going, folks? Sellout Jack here, just to let you guys know you've got less than 24 hours to get your Park to Prem t-shirt. So if you want to get one, it helps me out. It's really greatly appreciated. Check out the merch store link at the top of the description. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. It's a live com doubleheader, and well, let's get straight into it. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 121 of Park to Prem here with Town Town. Today we start on the profile of Roger McCasey, because today, in this first game, he's going to be getting a chance. He's going to be getting a shot in the first team, but not as a centre-back, as a centre-mid on box-to-box. And that may raise some eyebrows, but I will explain more in just a hot damn second. But first and foremost, we've got to talk about what's happened since you were last here. Of course, today, live com doubleheader, Man City at home. And then we've got our first ever home game in Europe at the Town Stadium. We're going to be taking on Roma. So that's a pretty exciting match. Of course, Man City, never going to be easy. And, well, after our last result, I'm even more worried. We have played 2 games since you were last here. The first of those was against Crystal Palace. It followed only a few days on from last episode's match against Basel. With that in mind, I completely rotated the team. I think the only player who played the previous match was Leskinen, just because I really like Leskinen and I'm just biased. But in this game, we came through 2-1 victors. You've seen the first goal, Maticevic from the penalty spot. Charlie Brown not long after with a near post header. And, well, in the dying embers of the game, Chris Mottry had a back post tap in for them. But the game was done. The match was won. And with that, we remain unbeaten in the league. However, having rested all of our, first team players, they came back in for the EFL Cup game, a game which I wanted to give Chelsea a good game in, and we got spanked 3-0. It wasn't pretty. I mean, you can see the stats in the bottom left of this game. It wasn't a game where it was a complete blowout and we got completely outplayed. We certainly had chances in the game, but ultimately, they took the chances that came their way. Mason Mount getting 2, a player who I've dropped as England manager. I feel like he's trying to show me what I'm missing out on. If anything, it's made me more bitter towards him, and I probably won't pick him up anymore. So yes, it's a shame not to go further in the EFL Cup, but given our fixture congestion, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, ultimately. So yeah, today we're going to be taking on Manchester City. Now, against Chelsea, I played the more attacking system. Today, we're going to go to our more conservative kind of 4-1-3-2 formation, I suppose. It's all about just being a bit more solid at the back. And given the fact we're playing Man City here, I'm going to play McCasey and I'm also going to play Lazarus as the 2 box-to-box midfielders. These are 2 players who are a bit more defensive than the other centre-mid options I've got. They're both capable of marking, both capable of putting in a tackle, good positioning as well. And I really believe that ultimately in this kind of game, it's maybe worth going with the slightly more defensive personnel to see how it, treats us. Obviously, if we go a few goals down, we've got the option to switch to the more attacking variant. McCasey and Lazarus, given the fact they're both, not the greatest players going forward, maybe then we have a bit of a problem, but ultimately that's what the substitutes are for. You can see on the bench we've got GCL, obviously, who has made way from the first team. Highlands there as well, Maticevic, Palazzolo, Charlie Brown, Deacon and Douglas, 2 defensive options we also have in our back pocket today. And well, after that 3-0 defeat, I feel like it's time to set the record straight. It's time to get a win against one of the big boys. And, well, we are, towards the top of the table unbeaten. We have the most goals scored in the league. Man City are top of the league with the best goal difference. It's kind of the immovable force meets the unstoppable object here. And, well, this is going to be the first real test of our league season, if I'm being completely transparent. Yes, we are unbeaten in our first 5 or 6, but ultimately, we've not played any of the big boys yet. This is one of those big boy games. These are the big boy matches, which ultimately, if we want to push for Champions League football, we need to try and win, and especially at home. I feel like we've got our best chance of doing so here. I have seen a few comments recently saying, Jack, I can't wait to see you in the Champions League in 2034. I feel like people haven't done a save like this before who leave those kind of comments. I feel like if you're coming up from the Championship, yes, you can push for, Champions League football within a few seasons. However, given how we've risen through the leagues and also given our finances, we don't really have the finances of a Championship team in that kind of position. It's going to be really, really hard, and especially hard if we concede within the first 6 minutes. It was Ashley Walker, our England forward, laying it across to Mike Frost. And yeah, this Man City team's good, if you can't remember. They won the Champions League last year. They won the FA Cup against us last year. Of course you can remember that one. They won the Premier League last year. They're winners. And we're still trying to learn the habit of winning the big silverware. We've lost an EFL Cup final. We've lost an FA Cup final. Not that I'm bitter about either, of course. Man, I mean, this is not a good start to the game, is it? 15 minutes in, the ball whipped in. Walker, oh my word. Morrigan, what are you doing? You're allowed to pick up the ball, my friend. Unless it came off a defender and he was worried about the back pass. Either way, the ball is not nestled in the back of the net. However, we have still got to defend a corner that's whipped back post, and while Andre is underneath it to get it away. Andre, of course, in this system is going to be playing as the centre mid on attack for us. I've gone with him over Giselle just because I feel like Andre is a bit more well-rounded, which, I don't know, with our more attacking system, I feel like the centre attacking mid can be, you know, a very attacking-minded player. However, in this system where we're really commanding a lot and asking a lot of our centre mids, I need that athleticism, I need that, you know, versatility and well-roundedness, and I feel like Andre has that. Anyway, we have steadied the ship a little bit, and actually, when you look at the stats at the bottom here, we're not being completely outplayed. It's a little bit concerning that both of our fullbacks are on bookings, but at half-time, it's only 1-0. We've not really seen enough of us to be able to make a good assessment. I will say Leskinen's completing a lot of passes. I noticed that McCassie has the highest pass completion, which is good. But ultimately, there is going to come a point in this game where we have to turn the screw, we have to turn the notch and the dial onto attacking mode. And I feel like with maybe an hour gone, that's kind of when that point comes, unless they score now, in which case we might just do it right away. Dest here. I guess that's Sergio Dest, the American fullback. I think it's Sergio Dest. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not mistaken, he starts at Ajax. Again, answers on a postcard. Vinicius Jr., saved by McCassie. Huge stop by him at the near post. That is one of the best chances of the game so far for either team. And while Morrigan, he's come to the rescue. And now we have a corner to deal with. It's whipped back post. And there he is again. He's like our little superhero, is Morrigan. Plucks the ball out of thin air. And well, we've hit that hour mark. That hour mark where I have to make the difficult but considered decision to go more attacking, I feel like. I feel like we need to roll the dice a little bit here. I'm going to keep McCassie on the pitch. Lazarus is on a booking, so I'm going to take him off and bring in GCL at centre attacking mid. The wing-backs being on bookings is a little bit concerning. I might just tell each of them just to ease out of tackles, just because it's probably worth doing that at this point. I don't really want to have a sending off. I'm just wondering if there's any further changes to do. Shvetsov's been poor. You know what? We're going to bring in Palazzolo, who I've been reliably informed his first name is not Giacomo, it's Giacomo. A bit like, so we've signed a Jacko and a Giacomo this summer. All the Jacks. Right. Let's see what we can do here. Double sub happening. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Palazzolo to write himself down into Tower folklore and really make himself a hometown hero, it feels like. Only 15 minutes left of this game. We've not really gone shouty yet, have we? Let's do it now as Soretta takes the throw in. Now with Leskinen. Soretta, where are you going to go, mate? Inside to Leskinen. Now with Andre. Lovely build-up play. Palazzolo, he's like a ballerina. Did you see those twirls? Marlon Ox, what can you? The German, I thought he was going to skip past one. Instead, he gets caught out. Now we have to be wary of the counter-attack as Dest is going to be bringing it forward. Now with Karabali down this right-hand side. Man City players queuing in the box. Camavinga is there. So is Mateus Aurelio. Soretta, oh my word, they've hit the woodwork. The Brazilians between them managed to get it away just about, although the danger might not be gone yet. Walker, Dest on the overlap. He goes on his own. Will the ball find its way into the box? No, it will not. We have 10 minutes left. I've got one last sub. Charlie Brown. This is your moment, my friend. This is your moment. As soon as I go more attacking, we are going to be very vulnerable at the back. But, well, there's no time left. It's one of those anticlimactic ends to a football manager match. We lose 1-0, which in a weird way, I feel like is oddly respectable. Is it bad for me to feel content about that? Part of me feels guilty having that mindset. But, I don't know, we've got such a young team. I feel like with our aims this year, realistically, Manchester City are more than likely going to run away with the league. It would have been lovely to beat them and get off to a flyer. As it stands, we have to settle for that loss. And with it, we're still in third. And I think regardless of results around us, there's a almost certain chance that we will retain a top 4 spot, which, I don't know, at the start of the year, if you told me Champions League football next season, I probably would have bitten your hand off. Obviously, we've not really truly been tested yet, but so far we've looked largely pretty good. I mean, even there against Manchester City, It was a competitive game, but a game that we were more than up for the challenge of, and I feel like we actually gave them a pretty good game. Maybe a bit disappointing that we couldn't create a little bit more, but ultimately, we didn't get embarrassed, which after the Chelsea game, I will take as just a small little win, I suppose. Anyway, we've got this game against Roma in 5 days' time. I'm not going to rest the players, I don't think, for that game, just because I don't feel like we need to. Norwich, if you could beat Liverpool, that would be doing me a favour. Can you do it, Norwich? Can you do... Oh, yes, they can! Lovely stuff. Liverpool would have leapfrogged us with a win there. As things stand, that is their second defeat of the year, and they remain 1 point behind us. Thank you, Canaries. Thank you very, very much. It's a shame that Sheffield United couldn't do us the same favour by beating out Manchester United, but you know what? Top 3 sounds good, doesn't it? Do we get a bronze medal for top 3? Don't feel like that's a thing in the Premier League. We have got an international break coming up, which is worth being a little bit aware of. As I talked about before with the last England episode, I'm not going to live com every England game. When we get to the big major competitions, that's when we'll be doing the England episodes. I know that we've already done 2 in quite quick succession, and I appreciate that they're not necessarily for everyone. Although, if you've not even given them a chance, I do recommend giving them a chance, because I feel like they're a bit more laid back, a little less serious, perhaps. And I'm approaching it more as just a fun bit on the side, being England manager, getting up to some weird and funny shenanigans. Of course, if Sonny Best does score, we will feature that in the intro of an episode, potentially with my live com. I can get NVIDIA Shadow Play set up, so it will record my reaction to said performance if Sonny Best scores, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't have faith in him to score for England. But anyway, we've got Roma, who are second in the Europa League group. They actually drew their first game against Vitesse, so a win here would make us pretty comfortably the top team in the group. After 2 games played, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Leskinen is apparently a world-class player. You'd love to see it. I mean, is he world-class? I'll let you guys be the judge. He's incredibly, incredibly well-rounded, isn't he? So well-rounded, in fact. I didn't really have an appreciation for how well-rounded he is. Apparently, well, according to our actual kind of staff member who's judging players, he doesn't think he's world class. But I'm gonna disagree. Jarno, you are world class. I believe there's an expression in Finnish called like "torille" or "torille." I can't remember how it's actually pronounced, but it means like to the market square, and it's something that Finnish people shout whenever Finland do something significant on the world stage, like a sports team doing well. So I don't know, maybe if Leskinen can win a Premier League, we'll go and party out in the market square of Town Town, Finnish style. Anyway, Best is singing Leskinen's praises. Sonny Best, have you found a club yet, mate? He's got 2 caps, but he's still not got a team. Are you changed your mind about coming back to us? I feel like he would rather... He's that bitter about the fact I dropped him for his own testimonial. He's that bitter about it that he would rather retire without returning to Towlaw than actually play for us. He would rather just stop playing football, which is a little bit heartbreaking. Giacomo has picked up an injury for 5 to 7 days. That's not good news. I'll tell you what, I feel like it's tricky, right? Because I've got Manuel Alvarez, who I do want to give a bit more game time to, but I feel like he is very much a squad player at this point. But Makassi, who played the last game, I really, really like him, but his 8 heading always makes me a bit hesitant to play him as a centre-back. I have been working on his passing, if I'm not mistaken, because if he could improve his passing a little bit and his vision, he could almost certainly do a job as a centre mid. It's unfortunate, right, because we play with a deep line playmaker, and that is actually really important to the way we play. I'd never ever play this guy at deep line playmaker. His composure on the ball isn't good enough, his vision isn't good enough. But defensively, obviously, he's a really solid option. Part of me's like, I need to get him on the bench somehow. But the only player who I could really swap him out for would be Highland. And I really like Highland too. It's one of the reasons why I did actually look at one point to loan out Makassi. As amazing as he is, he's the kind of player who I really want to just, give a season of really regular first-team football to. Of course, in games like the Man City one, where we do need a more defensive centre-mid option, I think he's really good in those kind of games. But as things stand right now, for a game against Roma at home, I want us to be a bit more positive in this game. And so I'm not looking at him right away as the player to have. Anyway, you can see here that leading producers of England national team footballers. We're currently in second. That'll be Sonny Best and Dylan Turnbull. Maybe I should just call up a load more Towel players so we can be the big dog on this bar chart. Either way, I guess it's nice to see us alongside the likes of Arsenal and Man City, even if there is potentially a small amount of bias. You know, not a massive amount, to be clear, but yeah, there might be a little bit of personal preference and personal vendettas against certain players coming into things. I am wondering about if we'll get a wage budget increase, not a wage budget increase, a transfer budget increase, just because we've got so much money in the bank. I did actually recently request a wage budget increase, and that was granted, but when I asked for a transfer budget, they turned it down. So our wage budget now sits at £1.7 million a week. We're only spending, well, committed spend is 1.5 million, but our actual current spend is even below that. So there is a little bit of wage budget. It does make me wonder if, come January, maybe there'll be some really good players available, to approach to sign on Bosman deals. With that excess wage budget, we could attract a really big name player if we wanted to. Anyway, I'm just wondering about the team for today's game. Lazarus has been a little bit hit and miss as of late, and I'm kind of tempted to bring in Matasevic. He's not had that many starts this year, but I do really, really like him, and given the fact, of course, he's homegrown at club, I would like to continue to, ensure his development by regularly giving him game time. If we do just compare him quickly to Lazarus, whose last name I'm forgetting. Lazarus, what is your last name? I just call you Lazarus all the time. Here it is. Tisfopoulos. Let's just not try. But you can see Matasevic not as defensive and not as quick, but just a really well-rounded technical player with some nice creative, ability with his good flair, reasonable vision, as well as his good passing. It's actually interesting because Lazarus does actually have pretty good vision, but I don't know. I think we're going to go with the technical ability and the physical prowess of Matasevic today, especially with Lazarus not quite being in form. I did always feel like the second kind of centre mid position was really going to be up for grabs this year. Of course, with Mateus Aurelio joining us to play out at right back, I knew that Lazarus was probably going to be, the backup there as well as kind of the backup centre mid. But I wanted to give him a chance. He actually started the year really well, but at the same time, we've got so many centre mid options, it feels only right to give a different one a chance if he's not performing. And well, maybe we will live to regret that because it's not been 2 minutes yet. And we're 1-0 down against Roma. Have I underestimated Roma here? Let's just have a quick look, shall we? They're currently second in Serie A. Their media prediction was 5th. Apparently, Acaputo is their key player. I mean, he's quite good, isn't he? He's good. Who else have they got? Who else are their big name players? Lenocci, I mean, he doesn't look as good, does he? That's one of those players who I just look at and go, those star ratings aren't right. Okay, their team is good, but I feel like we should be beating them. So the fact we've gone down after 2 minutes is a teeny tiny bit concerning. Who missed their header there? Name and shame them. It was Ox. I mean, to be fair, we can't really rely on our left back to win headers, especially when he's as small as he is. Oh my word, he's just been murdered. I mean, I said Lenocci wasn't very good, didn't I? Sent off after 2 minutes. Can we just take a breather, everyone? Just calm down a second. Well, we're a goal down. They're a man down. We've got the entire rest of the game to do this now. This is really important. This is a really big game. Let's get our first win in our first home win in our first ever home game in Europe. Let's not turn this into, a thing where we don't win at home in Europe. We need to get off to a good start, you'd imagine, though. Use the momentum of the sending off in our favour. That was a half chance for Shvetsov. We could have a good chance here, though, with Marlon Ox. He's winding up, needs to make amends for his previous missed header on their goal. Lays inside to Shvetsov at the near post. His shot is blocked. Falls back to Marlon Ox. Now with Leskinen. The Finn sprints it to the Ogre, who crosses it to Ox. Have a go, my friend. Have a go, my friend. Oh, my word. I mean, to be fair, Ox does that a fair bit where he cuts inside and then has an effort. Probably should cross it from this angle, though he does to Shvetsov. I mean, Roma, they're on the ropes. We've got them. We're swinging at them. Can we land a final blow? Can we land a knockout punch? We're not going to right now, although the ball is not cleared fully. Ox to Andre. Switches the play superbly to Dylan Turnbull. Not a player known for his delivery into the box is Turnbull, although Mateus Aurelio is there. The right wing back Leskinen, Turnbull, Arroyo, lovely build-up play. Can we have a bit of end product, a bit of quality? We have got them penned in to their box here. Look at them. They are just trapped right now. We're spreading the play greatly. Ox crosses in. Turnbull looked offside. And he wasn't offside. We're looking at VAR for a penalty. The penalty has been given, everyone. Andrei Shvetsov, get us back in this game. Give us that kickstart we need. They're a man down. We've got them on the ropes. He smashes it into the bottom corner as if there was any doubt. The pressure was definitely building there. That was a really weird sequence of highlights. Roma just penned in their own box, and finally that pressure has made them crack. We found a way through, albeit from the penalty spot. Let's see if we can now take a bit of that momentum in this game and keep it going. Leskinen, what can he do? He whips it back post. Morale heads it clear. Akaputo, their big player, clears it. Look, they've got no one forward on set pieces. No out ball. Ox, where are you going? You're left back. Where are you going, Ox? He's going all the way to Dylan Turnbull. It's cleared away. Leskinen says, no, you're not having the ball back just yet. We're going to keep the pressure on. He ensures the ball remains in their half, and they are penned at the end of their, well, at the edge of their 18-yard box. Mateus Aurelio, both of our wing-backs going on wonders. They're linking up. Shvetsov finished that. He has to score that. I said that very angrily. I was angry. It's not good enough. Right, let's get shouty. Usually I'm very calm in real life whilst getting shouty in game. That was the reverse. Could we get a second before half-time? It feels like it's coming. Turnbull hits the woodwork. He was offside anyway. It wouldn't have counted. But Roma, they look like they're in trouble. And now it's Aurelio throwing it to Leskinen this time. Now with Matasevic, the youngster, thrown into the first team here, hoping he can have a good little match here as the Ogre lays it back to Leskinen. Back with the Ogre. I guess it should be Le Ogre, because he's French. What is the French word for ogre? I wish I knew. Anyway, Akaputo here. He's the one player who I feel like we have to be scared of. The Roma number 9. He does look very, very good. And, well, he's in possession here. But he's giving it straight to Andrei, who thread through Shvetsov. What a superb pass. Shvetsov, you've got to score that one. You've got to score that one. How is this 1-1? 5 clear-cut chances. Please answer me, game. Leskinen crosses in. Turnbull, the game has answered me. The game has answered me and it's gone, you know what, Jack? You probably deserve another goal. It's gone and given us it. It's 2-1 here. That goal before the break is really going to knock the wind out of Roma's sails. You'd wonder, having got that goal for them and then to have the sending off and then concede not long after, that must have been a pretty bad psychological blow for Roma. But they didn't let us in for a second goal for half an hour. And at that point, maybe a bit of self-belief starts to creep in to their mindset. We've just crushed that self-belief. It doesn't exist anymore. 2-1, and you feel like now the momentum is with us. We should just be getting a few more goals in this half, and then we'll be on our merry way. The sending off really has changed this game, though. That really can't be understated as Leskinen tries to ping one in. Now with Andrei, can you put in a better ball of quality to Soretta, who recently signed a new contract, a 5-year deal for Soretta. Very, very happy about that because the 19-year-old looks superb. Matasevic going wide to Soretta. 2 youngsters linking up, although I feel like you can say that about pretty much any of our players passing it between them. Turnbull's effort at the near post was blocked, and while they might look to counter, I feel like that Turnbull chance was the opportunity. I was about to pause the game, but I'll wait a second for an appropriate moment. I want to discuss the contrasting attire of my manager and the Roma manager, because it's quite a funny sight on the sideline. GCL's not at the best of games. I'm going to bring in Volta for him. And you know what? Victor Alvarez, come on for Matasevic. The people have been saying that I've not been giving you a fair enough chance, Victor. I want you to show me why I need to give you more opportunities. I dream of it in the future, 10 years' time, Football Manager. You'll be able to do little talks like that and the players will respond to them based on the tone of your voice. Just imagine real-life team talks. I mean, screw it. Give me a VR headset. I actually have a first-gen Oculus Rift headset. I want to be able to do team talks. They've just scored, but I think it's offside. Right, Jack, stop talking about headsets and VR Football Manager team talks. There is a game here that you probably should be focusing on, you Wazzock. I mean, it was miles offside, to be fair, but 8 minutes left. We really need a third goal just so I can relax. Mateus Aurelio, where are you going? He's the big earner at the club. He lays it to Ox, who hits it. I mean, the wing-backs are loving the link-up play today, aren't they? So many of our opportunities have been them just stretching Roma wide and then pinging the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. Only 1 minute left. It looks like it's going to finish 2-1, barring a very, very late goal. We've got the win. It wasn't the most convincing of results, and, well, now it kind of looks like it was a bit more convincing. 3-1 this game's going to finish. I think in the other game, Vitesse are about to win 3-2. It's not the best result for us. If the other game could have been a draw, it would have been ideal. But you know what? We've navigated through this tricky fixture. Perhaps there was an element of luck in it, but Shvetsov's looked good. Great to see Aurelio get an assist as well at right wing-back. And, well, we've done what was asked of us, even if it wasn't the most convincing of performances. Boys, I'm going to tell them I'm very happy. Deep down inside, I know we were a little bit lucky. But, no, it gives me a little bit of confidence and a little bit of excitement, I guess. I feel like at this point now, I don't want to get too carried away. But you'd kind of look at our Europa League group and say, we probably should be making it out of this group at this point, because those point totals are pretty awful from all the teams around us. In terms of when we'll be back next episode, as I've already mentioned, we have got an international break, but we're not going to do that. We have got a tricky October, but I'm very mindful of the fact that we have only played 10 league games so far, and I think we're on our 4th or 3rd episode of the season. So with that in mind, I'm thinking we might come back potentially in 2 months' time, maybe for the Tottenham game at the start of the month of December. They're currently competing in the Premier League. Of course, if things in the Europa League start to get really, really close, maybe we'll shift our focus onto one of those games. But the way things are going, we're doing quite well. Yes, there are some tricky games in here, but I don't know. I feel like we just need to get through a few more matches. So with that in mind, Tottenham is coming up, of course, later on in the year. Hopefully we'll have a knockout stage of European football to look forward to. Maybe if we're still really battling it out in a tightly fought 4th place battle, that's also going to require a few extra live comms and stuff. So, I don't know. With that in mind, I feel like October and November are kind of the months where you kind of start to establish where you're going, but you don't really know exactly what you're aiming for just yet. And I feel like when we're back next time for that game against Tottenham, I can come in and I can tell you with confidence, this is the aim for the year, this is where I want us to be finishing. And also there might be a little bit of talk about planning for a January transfer window, hopefully with a much, much bigger transfer budget, because we have way too much money and it really is annoying me. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Just as a reminder, only 1 day left as you watch this. This is the last day that you can get your Park to Prem t-shirt. So go check out the merch store link down below. We have some towel or stuff too. And, hopefully you check it out, enjoy it, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. It's me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.